Good afternoon, everyone. Emma with Development Seed, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for the invite. First time at FedGeo, and it's a good crowd so far, so let's see how you treat me. So my talk on data aggregation and at large is through the lens of the commercial satellite data acquisition program, of which I'm currently serving as tech lead. And so it's through that lens that just want to roll through some high-level, hopefully, lessons on how we're leveraging metadata and STAC and some of the tooling that Henry presented about earlier this morning, if you were here for that. Really, it starts with satellites, right? Now, Katie, shout out to Katie for giving a shout out to CSDA earlier, too. So Katie talked about the NASA satellite system and tools and resources. And she mentioned that there's a commercial side of things, right? And so that's CSDA. And so in the purview of CSDA, what is the space economy? And through CSDA, it's about purchasing commercial satellite data and evaluating it and making it accessible to researchers for scientific research. And so with that, we make that data accessible through our platform. This is just a snapshot. This is our Satellite Data Explorer, and also known as the SDX. That's probably what I'll call it from now on. And like a good mapping application, it's got to have a map, and it's got to have some filters, right? And so this is, this is meant to be a bird's eye view, or maybe a satellite level view of the CSDA SDX. But I want to get into the details of how to make this happen, right? Because at the high level is that we are dealing with a needle in a haystack problem. Right? It's not a problem, it's really a luxury that NASA can purchase a lot of data, commercial data, and make it accessible to researchers. And so we do have a lot of data, and it's geospatial in nature, so yeah, that's unique, check that box. And it also has a lot of technical details, right? These satellites, many satellites have hundreds, thousands of sensors. I'm not a satellite expert yet, but a lot of sensors with a lot of different capabilities, capturing a lot of different data products from different angles, right? So there are a lot of technical details that we shouldn't leave without, right? And yet, what we're dealing with are images, are static files. So, and it's a lot of them. Right now, currently, we're over 30 petabytes. Just to put it in context, you take 30,000 1 terabyte drives, stack them up, and you're almost to a mile's worth, right? So that's a lot of data. And fortunately, we're in a world where we can store that data in a cloud, and storage has become relatively inexpensive. And so you might think, well, we could just leverage our storage and just organize it, right? We could organize it by vendors. We could organize it by products. We could organize it by years and make it searchable in that way. Well, wait a minute. This is geospatial. How do we deal with the geospatial side of things, right? That's a big curveball. And you might think, well, we're clever. We can name things in a specific way, right? We can encode product types, sensor details, dates to search by in scene names. And you can do that to a certain extent, but you're going to miss a lot of the detail, right? And so for anyone in the room who's wondering what metadata is, it's data about the data. And to collect that, you gotta run it through the process. The one gear doesn't cover it. There are many pipelines that take care of introducing all the different vendor product types that we collect through CSDA. But this is a sample of all of the data associated with one scene, right? So there's a lot of data that can be searched on and leveraged in order to enable data discovery, right? To solve that needle in a haystack sort of problem. And so that's where we are. I'm going to point out that Henry talked about the stack spec. That's what we use. So that dictates what the metadata should look like. We put it in a PGStack flavor Postgres that scales up to host 100 million stack records. And then we expose it through a STAC-FastAPI that our CSDA SDX can communicate. And at the end of it, we also get to aggregate data, right? So once the metadata is in a Postgres database, we can do cool things like summarize it. And essentially, that's what powers our SDX view. It's what powers our histograms and our filtering. So with that, there is a world in the future where we'll be using things like DuckDB to make this more dynamic, but that's kind of where we are for now. So thanks for your time.